So it's a horrible, horrible situation, and we're not going to fix it. Criminals are going to be criminals.
Hey folks, I'm Tennessee Brando for MeidasTouch. You know, I was born right here in Tennessee, and I live in the Bible Belt, folks. I am surrounded every day of my life by some of the most dipshit politicians you could ever imagine. And ever since Donald Trump burst onto the scene, all these hillbilly politicians are trying to imitate him. So if you can picture a bunch of hillbilly Donald Trumps, that's what I have to live with every day of my life. And no one leaves me scratching my head in bewilderment as to how we could have come from the same part of the world more than Congressman Tim Burchett. Every time this guy opens his mouth, he one-ups himself. Every time he opens his mouth, I say to myself, how in the world did he come from Tennessee too? But one of the things we've been dealing with here in Tennessee is our governor, Bill Lee, has decided that the biggest threat that children face today is drag queens. We have got to keep the children away from the drag queens, according to Bill Lee and Tim Burchett. And they want to talk about how that, we have to keep our children safe. We have to protect our precious children. I've got this clip of Tim Burchett talking about drag queens. Watch how fired up he gets. Watch how fired up he gets when he thinks about a child being around a drag queen. And dadgummit, we're not going to allow it here in the state of Tennessee. Yeah, he really said it that way. Watch this clip, and then I'm going to show you a clip of how he reacted to the school shootings.
A grown man dressed up like a woman should not be rubbing his crotch in front of a little child. That is ridiculous. Good on Governor Bill Lee and our Tennessee legislature. The law goes into effect on July 1st. And dadgummit, we don't put up with that crap in Tennessee, and we shouldn't. And the rest of the country should follow suit. This is wrong. As wrong as it can be, and we've let these bunch of radicals push the envelope. I have friends of mine that are homosexual, and they tell me that, and they tell me the same thing. They say kids shouldn't be exposed to this.
Right.
This is a radical fringe that we're allowing to declare normalcy. This is wrong as wrong can be.
So, dadgummit, when it comes to drag queens, we can definitely do something about the children. But now watch what Tim Burchett has to say about school shootings and what we can do to fix it. According to Tim Burchett, there's nothing we can do.
3 precious little kids lost their lives, and I believe 3 adults, and the shooter, of course, lost their life too. So it's a horrible, horrible situation, and we're not going to fix it. Criminals are going to be criminals, and my daddy fought in the Second World War, fought in the Pacific, fought the Japanese, and he told me, he said, buddy, he said, if somebody wants to take you out and doesn't mind losing their life, there's not a whole heck of a lot you can do about it.
Well, he just went ahead and said the quiet part out loud. They are not going to do nothing about it. I'll give Tim Burchett this much. He went ahead and said what we've all known for a long time. We're not going to fix it. We can't do it. Because my daddy said if somebody's willing to die, there ain't much you can do about it. And people around here will hear that and go, yeah, it makes sense to me. And they'll keep on moving. Republicans are the first ones to shout out that, hey, we have a mental health crisis in this country. And then they do nothing to help people with mental health problems. All they want to do is make firearms more easily accessed. They think that's the answer. More weapons. They sit here and they pose in front of their Christmas tree with their firearms. They pose in front of the flag. They pose in front of a Bible. They call themselves patriots. And anybody that speaks out against them, oh, well, we're just mouthpieces for communism. It's one of the most ridiculous things, and I am surrounded by that kind of talk here in East Tennessee. So I'm thankful for the MeidasTouch Network because I get to hear some good old common sense. And I want to say something too, because I just showed you one of the worst that East Tennessee has to offer, but I want everybody to know there are some really decent people right here in East Tennessee who do not believe or stand at all with Tim Burchett. He does not speak for all of us. Yes, MAGA is very loud, they're very obnoxious, and as long as, they're out there roaming around, people like that's going to be the loudest. They're going to have the microphone. They're going to be saying the most over-the-top, outrageous stuff you could imagine. But if you ever show up here in East Tennessee, you can bump into me somewhere, bump into my friends. We'll sit down here, we'll play some music with you, and you will find that not all of us are ignorant hillbillies the way that Tim Burchett portrays us. And if I start going off on a rant about that, about how that these MAGA politicians love to just take a hillbilly accent and run with it, we'll be here the rest of the night. So I will refrain from that. We'll save that for another day. But it's embarrassing. Tim Burchett is an embarrassment to Tennessee. And there's a whole lot of people in this part of the world that does not agree with him. So I just wanted everyone to know that. But I want y'all to know something else. I want you to know that here at MeidasTouch, we are so thankful that you guys kept hitting that like button, hitting subscribe, sharing it with your friends, because we did it. We made history, and we crossed over to 1 million subscribers here on YouTube. So we thank you so much for tuning in. And again, for those of you outside this part of the world, if you ever swing by East Tennessee, stop by, have a beer with me, and we'll sit and talk some sense. Until next time, I'm Tennessee Brando. You guys keep tuning in, and I'll keep telling you the truth.